Welcome in. My name is Katie Lynn. We are looking over a human design experience today. At this particular moment, we are going to be running over Kitsy Ember's chart. Before we get started, there's just a few things that I want to talk about, like how Kitsy Ember is receiving an overview reading. And what does this mean? An overview reading is a basic reading where you learn how to say your yes and no. And the reason why I say that is because out in the world, there are very, very specific readings that you can get. And typically, a person would purchase what is known as a foundational reading to get to understand these portions of who they are. But, I like doing an overview reading because it really touches on the things that really needs to be touched on. And I drive home the point very deeply so that you guys can understand what I'm talking about and what matters most out of understanding and seeing all of these things over on the screen here. One of the things that I do want to say is that we could legitimately talk about this chart for 18 days in different variations, whether it be health, whether it be sleep, whether it be purpose. We could talk about you and your energy for days. Now, we are going to be going over brain candy and important stuff. And I'm going to be indicating when we're going to be switching back and forth from both so that you can understand what you really need to listen to in order to get it. And where a person can turn off their brain if they're a little bit too overwhelmed by what I'm saying. Like if it's just too much. Because there is a lot here to say. And it's not in a bad way. All right. Because Kitsy Ember has already had a human design reading, I'm not going to go over why a person would get a human design reading. We are going to get we will go over that with our second reading that we do today that you can see up on the screen. We'll explain what a human design reading is, why would you get one, and what's so important about it. We are going over her overview, and she really does understand the point of what human design is. Human design is to decondition away all the things that aren't you, and it reminds you of who you are. You when you came into this earth, when you leave this earth as well. We are going to hop right into the stuff that you need to know, Kitsune. You are a manifesting generator. Now, when I say manifesting generator, that's just jargon, but you should hear it. You're not necessarily supposed to understand it. It's just jargon, but you are a manifesting generator. And as the manifesting generator, you are here to respond. Now, let's go back about 20 steps. Human design is your choice mechanism. It allows you to understand who you are as a person, how you say your yes and no based on what your energy is and who you are as a person. And when we say your choice mechanism, I'm talking about your yes and your no for you and making correct decisions for you. Now let's bring it up to human design terms. What is a choice mechanism? What is a yes and no? It is your strategy and authority. So your yes and no lays in your strategy and authority. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to you, Kitsy, and it doesn't matter to whomever I'm speaking to. Strategy and authority, that is your yes and no choice mechanism for your energy. Now, I said I wouldn't get into why human design, but I'm getting into it. So, why would you want to know how to make proper choices for yourself? I mean, obviously, because you want to make correct decisions for yourself, for you, to be authentic. But if you allow your yes and no to flow through you, understanding it, and then actually following it. So if your body said yes and you follow that yes, that's what I'm talking about. If your body said no and you follow that no, that's what I'm talking about. If you listen to your strategy and authority, or if you listen to your choice mechanism, you are allowing your purpose to flow through you. You don't need to get your brain involved. You don't need to say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, I have to, I need to. What's the next thing I gotta work on in order to? No. Now, we're not going to be talking about your purpose today, Kitsy. And the reason is because all you have to do is listen to your strategy and authority, your yes and no, your response mechanism, in order to understand how you say your yes and no, so you can allow your purpose to flow through you. You don't have to get your brain involved. Your body's going to tell you. We are talking about you being a manifesting generator and that just being jargon. But we just explained how if we talk about your strategy and authority and you knowing how to make correct decisions for yourself, it allows your purpose to flow through you. And what is your purpose? We can see it right here on the screen, your incarnation cross. That is your purpose. Anybody watching this, your incarnation cross is your purpose. Now, if you're going to Google it, make sure you Google the right angle, left angle, or juxtaposition, whatever's in your chart. But if Kitsy is going to Google it, she's going to Google right angle cross of contagion, 8/14, 30/29. And it matters because there's different variations of each cross. So now I'm going to forewarn you, when I looked at my incarnation cross, I didn't resonate with it at all because I was still too far away from who I actually was, because I was still living life according to what other people wanted from me. So let us go back and talk about the things that matter. You are a manifesting generator and you are here to respond. What does that mean? Okay. What I need to say first is that you have a 2-part choice mechanism. So there's 2 parts that you got to handle in order to make your decisions. Strategy and authority is your yes and no choice mechanism. Let's start to run over that. You are here to respond. What does that mean for you, Kitsy? Well, it usually means that there's going to be an external cue that's going to get you to do something. What do I mean by that? Maybe somebody asks you to go to the store. That's an external cue. Maybe your cat decided to knock down a shelf off the wall. That's an external cue for you. I'm sure you're going to check your cat first and make sure they're all right. So you respond to a noise and you respond to possibly checking your cat to see if they're okay. And you respond to then eventually cleaning up the mess that they've made. Now, if we're talking about response, it's not 100% always external, but internal cues are just the bodily cues. Like, oh, when I eat that thing, my body don't like it. Or, oh, I gotta go pee. I better get there quickly because I gotta go bad. I've just been procrastinating because I gotta work. Or your tummy rumbles and rumbles and rumbles, and then eventually you get hangry. So you're like, damn it, okay, I respond to getting some food. So those are the type of internal cues that we're talking about. So a response for you is waiting to respond. It's not talking about you going out there and manifesting something immediately. We are conditioned to just go out there and do it, and we don't have access to that instantaneous energy. We don't have the access to initiate instantly, but we are definitely conditioned to be. And when we go out there and try to do it, just like the Nike brand says, just do it, we find ourselves failing because, we try to put everything out into the world that we want, and it's just, we didn't respond to the proper timing of doing that. So I'm not saying that you can't initiate or don't put anything out into the world. I'm just saying that respond to the proper timing. Our brain is always going to run around and tell us to do stuff and make us feel like we have to do stuff, but have you responded to the proper timing for you to bring it out into the world? So a response is, you being in a group of friends and not necessarily initiating the conversation, but possibly waiting for the proper moment to interject with your response to what has been said in the conversation. I wonder if you test that out to see if you try to initiate conversation, how well people react. Or if you respond to initiating during a conversation, how much better a conversation might go. I don't know, play around with it. See if it's something. Tell me about it. I want to know, because I'm not your energy. I don't know. So you are here to respond. So that is part 1 of your choice mechanism. So part 2 of your choice mechanism is to have an inner authority of the solar plexus. Now, like I said, education, here's your response mechanism, here's your solar plexus here. Now, when we talk about this, I like to tell people that 50% of the world has this colored in. When colored in is a thing, in the human design terms, it means you have definition. You are defined there. So I'm going to use that term from now on. Anywhere you see color in that chart over there is definition. So we're going to talk about definition. So we have 50% of the world that are defined here. So whether you know your chart or not, 50% of the people listening to this will resonate with what I'm about to say. Is that, or should resonate, with what I have to say. So as your inner authority, emotional solar plexus, you are here to gain clarity. And what does that even mean? Gaining clarity. Now, I don't have this defined, so I can only give you some education based on what other people have told me or examples other people have given me. And the best ones that seems to stick are, making a decision with clarity means having no emotions attached to it when you make that decision. So not being excited, not being joyous, not being frustrated, not being angry. Try to be as neutral as possible when going into that decision. You might find yourself being excited and being like, shit, what did I just commit to that? I didn't actually want to. Or, when you're frustrated or angry and dropping out of something too quickly, you're like, frig, I regret dropping out of that thing when I was frustrated. I wish I wouldn't have. So it's talking about you needing to possibly make decisions with no emotions attached, but I know that's impossible sometimes. Now, clarity, I've been told, is taking time from the original ask. And like I said, putting time from the original ask to the final answer. Now, maybe you've been asked something. Maybe you say, hey, just give me a minute. Let me think about it overnight. If it's a really big decision, like a job, let me tell you on Monday. Let me have the weekend to think about it. So, so you can, have some time from the original ask to the final answer. Now, another expression that I've been told about what clarity is that you have 14 things that you want to do. Which one is the most clear? Which one should be the one that you follow is the one that is the most clear for you out of those 14 doors. I've been explained that clarity is best experienced at 70%, so don't ever feel like you'll ever be 100% clear. So if you're 70% clear, that's a good maximum clarity that you got there. Nice. It's pretty much that we want to ride the emotional up wave and down wave to see if we want to partake in said venture. So, as an example, the most important things to make a decision with in life are the things that you're going to be experiencing for a very long time. So, you work a lot during the day, you live in a certain place, and so living, work, and partner, going into your those contracts correctly is very, very important. I mean, of course, it's important for everything, but you're spending most of your life on those things, right? So, let's just say you have the job of a lifetime offered to you, and of course, you're excited and you want to say yes immediately, but we just told you that making a decision when you're excited is not necessarily the best time to make a decision. So what is suggested for you to do, Kitsune, is to say, all right, employer who just offered me my dream job, just let me think about it over the weekend and I'll give you an answer on Monday. Now, obviously you want the job, but there's a lot of things that a person would have to do. You would have to give your 2 weeks notice. You would have to really think about it. Is this going to be good for me? And then let them know it's most likely that you're going to say yes. But the thing is that, there's two different things that could happen when a person says, yo, person, wait while I give you an answer. Either, the person does wait and they're sitting back like, whoa, I want that energy. I need that energy. So how am I going to make this offer more juicy so that this person, comes into it, accepts it? Or the other one, which sounds scary, but in my opinion, it's awesome. The deal possibly could fall through. And that clarity would allow that time to allow it to fall through if it wasn't the proper thing for you. So when we're talking about that, for example, let's just say your job of your lifetime was just offered to you and it fell through. Okay, let's just talk about that logically. If you were offered a job like on a Thursday, and let's just say you accepted on Friday, and then on the Monday they said they didn't need you anymore, you would have already told your previous job that you gave them their 2 weeks notice. You've given your 2 weeks notice. You've already started to maneuver your life over the weekend. And then on Monday, you're both 2 weeks notice into your previous job and you don't have a new job. So I would say that gaining clarity over the weekend was a benefit. Like, would you really have wanted to commit to a company who would have dropped you just that fast? Oh, someone else is more shiny and pretty, let's commit to them. Or something else is more shiny or pretty. Or maybe the financial budget didn't actually account for this. So there could have been a million different reasons. Maybe the reasons have absolutely nothing to do with you. So, gaining clarity is quite important. Not being an instantaneous being is very important. So let's just run over that again and let's smash those examples together. So you are a manifesting generator and you are here to respond, and you are here to get clarity over the things that you respond to. Now, I actually just realized that I didn't give you all of the information that you needed to know about a response. Response is uh-huh and uh-uh. Just like a baby. Their sounds are so pure. When a baby likes something, they're like, ooh. When a baby doesn't like something, they're like, eh. So, um, it's really about listening to those guttural sounds that you've been gifted, those response sounds, uh-huh and uh-uh, ooh, ah, or oh. And if the answer is, I don't know, or the answer is that you don't know, or maybe the question or situation isn't correct for you in that particular situation. So, your guttural sounds, listen to them. They are a gift to you. Uh-huh and uh-uh. So, let me talk about that because I have a response mechanism as well. I respond to a lot of different things, and you know, love, that I have a lot of different lists of things that I want to do, possibly partake in. But the thing is that, yeah, I do respond to different things, and I write them down on a list. And then, um, when I have time or I feel like I want to move, I go to the list and I go down the list and no, no, mm-mm, mm-mm. And then I literally flip pages sometimes, and then one eventually comes up and I'll be like, yeah, I do want to work on that. And sometimes, just because I responded to something now, it doesn't mean that it'll ever even be touched or get done, because I responded to something years ago, and I don't respond to doing it, wanting to do it now. So, although I don't want to do it now, it's still in my little booklet that you gave me at the back, but it's in my trash pile, just so I can access it, just in case I ever feel like I respond to it again. But no, I definitely don't respond to it. Don't want to do it anymore. So, just because you respond to it initially, it doesn't mean that you'll always respond to it. So make sure that you go into your contracts correctly. Make sure that you respond to life, and and gain clarity over those and that you do have. Now, I want to talk about some brain candy stuff here. We're going to switch over to some brain candy stuff here. Switch of pace. You are a generator, which means that your not self theme is frustration. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody watching this, because 70% of the world are generators. So 70% of the chat or viewership might resonate with this. Where are you frustrated in life? Where are you frustrated in life? What do you need to change? What aren't you doing for yourself in that particular position, experience, people, place, or thing? What's got you frustrated? Now, remember, I told you that making a decision out of emotions isn't really a good time to make decisions. So I'm going to ask you, what has you frustrated? Now the next question is, what needs to change for that to fix? Or what needs to happen for that to change, rather? So I'm not necessarily telling you to quit something or start something, but what needs to change in that particular situation so that frustration turns into something that's satisfactory again? So, where are you frustrated in life? Okay, now what do you respond to doing about it? Now, what did you gain clarity over on what you need to do about it? So, a lot of people like to drown out those negative feelings in their life, like anger, disappointment, frustration. But in human design, it is, in my opinion, an up-level indicator. Because, Kitsy, where are you frustrated? That is a place in your life where you can up-level. That is a place where things could change so that you could be in more alignment with who you are as a person. So I think that the not self themes shouldn't be pushed away and peace and love. No, fuck that. Allow yourself to feel frustrated because it is your not self-theme, or it is your indicator that you're not doing you in some fashion. Now, once again, we're on the brain candy stuff, so I've just educated you on how to say your uh-huhs and uh-uhs and gain clarity over that. Let's go over it again. If you say your uh-huh and uh-uh, which is your choice mechanism is your strategy and your authority. Your strategy and your authority is your choice mechanism, how you say your yes and no. So whether I'm looking at your chart or anybody else's chart, this is your yes and no. And why would we even want to know our yes and no for us? Because it'd be great if we were making correct decisions for our body and our trajectory in life. And if we allow our decisions of yes and no to flow through us, once again, if you say yes, if your body says uh-huh, and you follow that uh-huh, or if your body says uh-uh, and you follow that uh-uh, you are allowing your purpose to flow through you. And is understanding your strategy and authority, your yes and no mechanism, to allow your purpose to flow through you. And anybody watching, your purpose is your incarnation cross. And we are not going over incarnation crosses because that's a different reading. But just, if you're going to Google it, once again, put in the whole sentence, incarnation cross, and put in the whole sentence, including the first part and the numbers. We are going to be talking about some more brain candy stuff, and we're going to be talking about how you have a split definition. There's nothing really that you should know about that other than the fact that it's something that indicates that, if I say it this way, I'm going to be saying it incorrectly. So you are not an instantaneous person. Split definition does not indicate that, but you are not an instantaneous person because, remember, we have to wait to get clarity and a combination of the split definition. We have two sets of energies that are trying to talk to each other on either side of your chart, and they need to have time to speak to each other, gain more clarity together. You know, you have separate sets of energy that are speaking to one another in your chart. So your body, now, you are not an instantaneous being. What I'm saying is that you are not here to initiate instantaneously. That's all I'm saying. But let's confuse you a little. This little guy over here, it's defined. And you can see that it's attached to your yes and no mechanism, which means that you have access to that as well. Here's a confusing part. This is understanding what's healthy for you or not. This is understanding what you should hold on to or not, or let go of or not. But the thing is that this is what makes you feel like you possibly could be safe in instantaneous situations. So you have access to healthy information in the moment, is what I'm saying. So if you find yourself physically backing away from something and your brain doesn't understand why, it's possibly that danger is coming for you. You know, if you are near a person and you find yourself stepping towards them, maybe they're good for you. If you find yourself being repulsed by them and stepping away from them, your body is telling you healthy information. For me, I pick out my lips when they're dry. But the thing is that I realized that other than anxiety, my body is telling me, hey, your body's dry, dehydrated, and I'm telling you through touching your lips. So when you go touch your lips, go have a drink of water. That's my indicator. Maybe you're going to the bathroom and you popped a salty peanut in your mouth on the way by. And you're like, I wasn't even hungry. Maybe your body needed a little protein boost / fat boost / salt boost intake. So it's really talking about you having access to this health knowledge in the moment. So this is instantaneous knowledge, but you can't ask it to come back again. Oh, I'm gonna feel repulsed by that guy again or that person again. You know, it's not gonna come back again. So you just need to watch instantaneously what your body's doing in the moment, and then gain clarity of what you're gonna do about it. Now, a person, if you have a fixed way of expressing your emotions, you have a fixed way of knowing when enough's enough, you have a fixed way of understanding what's healthy for you or not, and you have a fixed way of externalizing that. Now, if we're talking about the undefined centers or the uncolored centers, let's see where we can find yourself. Remember, this is the most pressure that you have on your system, but we're talking about the centers now. You might feel pressured to go, 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 or you might feel debilitated by all of the things that you need to do. Now, people in your life recognize that you have this open, and external people looking in, they're going to try to motivate you and get you pressurized to get things done. And they can understand that maybe they might be able to pressurize you to get things done. And they try to say, oh, get things done. Now, you have your own timing. Even though it's undefined, you have your own timing. Now people are going to call you externally looking out inwards, the not self of everybody looking into you. They might say you're lazy, they might call you a procrastinator, but that's not true at all. What I find with this center is that you're just gaining the proper amount of energy or fuel or adrenaline in order to be able to get things done when they need to get done and properly. Let's move up to the head. You might feel a lot of mental pressure to know, to understand, to conceptualize, maybe to prove that you know. Now, I actually found you in this particular position last week. Kitsy is doing a particular position in her work that she's doing work for other people. And I'm actually going to forewarn you, babes. This is the not self-expression of this center. Taking on other people's work, although they are your colleagues, it has nothing to do with you. They need to find time in their day to be able to do their work because it's taking away from yours. And that's why I decided to say the other day, if you find yourself not being able to complete your work, make sure you give that stuff back to those guys at work. So this is where you can find yourself taking on work of others, maybe to prove that you're a good colleague, maybe to prove that maybe just because it maybe has nothing to prove. It's just people know that this is open and they try to pressurize you, and they know that if they pressurize you to a certain point, maybe through guilt, maybe through shame, maybe through other different means, that you'll end up doing their work. So an example here is that when I worked at my previous job, I knew everything about my job, and the guys who've been there for a while, they didn't know everything, and they were like, hey Katie, can you do it? And I'm like, sure, I'll do it, but you know that you're gonna eventually have to learn how to do this, right? And then a week went by and I was helping them out, and then time went by and they're like, Katie, can you do this? I'm like, no, I can't actually. I was just very generous helping you with your transition period, but now you got to do your own work. And they didn't like it, but they understood that they were using me and my open head to get stuff done. But it was affecting my clients and the work that I was doing, and it was causing me a lot of anxiety. So people can feel that you have an open head, and 70% of the world has an open head. So 30% of the world are really, really depending and pressurizing the rest of us to do their work for them. Now, what's interesting is that one of my human design partners had the pressurized head, and he kept on saying, what do you think about that? What do you feel? What do you know about that? And I was like, What do you feel? What's your answer? Why are you always asking me this first? Stop pressurizing me to give you the answers. So that was something that I realized that he was doing to me, but maybe he didn't realize that he was doing because it was so natural for him to pressurize people for answers. Not sure. So, I wonder if your hubby has this defined. See, the wisdom in this center here that I'm pointing at is I only know what I know, and that's okay. Trying to accumulate more and more conceptualizations and knowledge is kind of the not self of this area. Tragically Hip says it the best in one of their songs. I only know what I know. Now, you might experience a lot of different expressions of this because it's fully wide open. There's absolutely no energy connected to it, not even the little red or black gates that are off of it. What am I saying about that is that this is where people can find themselves overthinking. This is where people can find their minds being completely blank, or anxiety, like that mental anxiety. So that could be up and down. But the best way to manage that is to be yourself. Of course, go see your doctor, which you do. But the reason why I was wondering if your hubby has this defined is because I still remember that one story that you told me about how you said the word onion. See, onion in French. In English, it's onion. Yeah, there's no G and we know that, but you were saying onion, and that's fine to you. You understand that. Whatever. There's people who say straw and stuff like that, brawl for like straw and bra. So whatever, it's however you choose to say it is how you choose to say it. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not here to correct you. We're not in the spelling bee. Whatever. But he was that day because you were talking about an onion, and he literally pulled out a whiteboard and started writing the word onion on the whiteboard to correct you, to prove that he knew. But you were okay with calling it onion, and you probably still do call it onion. So, you were okay with knowing what you knew. You got completely derailed from him trying, and I'm not saying that this is bad, because all he was trying to do was probably make you understand that you were saying it wrong, and he was just trying to be a good husband and trying to show you visually that this is how it's done, and he was just being the kind, cuddly person that he is. But in the human design world, that's just a not self-expression of I am proving that I know. You can find yourself here. This is what I found myself saying nothing at all, because I didn't want to be humiliated for being wrong. So the only time I would speak is if I knew I was right with facts to back it up. So after a while, people only thought, wow, Katie is so smart because every time she talks, it's so intellectual, it's so smart. No, there is a lot of stuff that I don't know about, and I am quite unintellectual. So that was a not self-expression of that area as well, is not speaking at all and not repeating myself, because I already said it once. Or I'd raise my hand in class and the teacher didn't hear me because I was too afraid of being humiliated the first time. Oh, can you repeat that? No, teacher, I'm not going to repeat it. You didn't hear it the first time. That's not what I said, but I'd be like, no. So, now, I'm going to save this one for last here, but we're going to be talking about this. Now, to me, this is the most beautiful aspect of who you are, and it radiates through you right here. This is the love, identity, and direction center. You're meant to experience many loves, many directions, and many identities in life. Kitsy is a person who wakes up and should be okay with, who am I today? Who was I yesterday? And who will I be tomorrow? There is no fixedness in your identity. There is no fixedness in how you should love every day. There's no fixedness in how you identify with who you are. Now, over time, because you're like 34, you do have some fixedness in how you identify with that because it repeats itself every year and changes just a little. But, there's no fixedness to this, and I think it's beautiful. What's also beautiful about this center is that this is a compass for you. And if you walk into a place and you're like, that is like a double gift on top of your response, and that compass in the center there, it is telling you you are not with the right people. You are not in the right place, having the right experiences, so get the fuck out. It is a beautiful guide for you. Now, the thing is that you are meant to experience a variety of expressions in life, identity, direction, and love. Now, love, I'm not talking about necessarily loving people. It's what do you love? I love doing artistry. I love doing cosmetics. I love doing crafts. I love being a caring person to my tribe. I love being, all of these different things that you identify as you. It doesn't have to necessarily be people. But what's a shame about this center is that people looking in on you may say that the exact person you are is wrong and it's bad. And that's awful. And let me explain what I'm saying. In life, we are told that we need to commit something and finish it. In life, we're told that if we jump from one thing to another, that it's, you should be ashamed of yourself for not sticking with something for a long time. Those are all external conditioning factors that don't matter. Because you are here to pick something up, taste it like candy, and throw it away. Try the next thing, experience the next thing, identify with the next thing. Literally, it could be 3 things in a day. And there's been a lot of people in Kitsy's life who has tried to shame her into moving on to the next thing. Since I've known Kitsy, she's done cosmetics, aesthetics, she's done eyelashes, she has done animal care, she has done customer service, she has done call center work, and now she is in film. And a lot of people, and there's so much more in between for experience in artistry. That was just the quick version. And some people make her feel bad about that. And it's not to be felt bad about. This is who you are. You're meant to experience many identities, directions, and loves in life. And it's perfect for you. So don't ever let anybody make you feel ashamed for picking something up for 2 seconds and it costs $1,200 and then moving on to the next thing. Fuck them. They're not you. They're not going to be walking in your shoes forever. This is how you're supposed to live your life. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to splurge money. Remember, you need to respond to life and get clarity on the things that you want to do. That was just an exaggerated example. A not self-expression of this. So what do I even mean by not self? Not self means that your body said yes, but you were too afraid and you did no. Or your body said no, but you were too excited and you said yes. So it's the opposite of what your choice mechanism popped out for you. So not self-expression is not feeling like you're enough. Not feeling like you deserve. Or feeling like you have to go harder, better, faster, stronger. Now, let me talk to everybody here once again. 70% of you watching has this undefined, uncolored here, just like Kitsy. And if you're living a not self life, if you're living your life according to what other people want for you, or maybe, a gender is forcing you into, there's so many conditioning factors in life. I was talking to chat there, or viewers, because, when we say girl, we think pinks and purples, and we say boy, we're thinking blues and greens and stuff like that. So that's what I'm talking about, is being conditioned to be something that you're not. So we can find ourselves with those feelings of not feeling like we're loved or deserving or not enough, etc. But like I just said, this is an expression of the not self. So what am I even saying there? You are deserving. You are loved. You are beautiful. All of these feelings are just because you're acting the way you think people want you to act in certain aspects of your life. If you ever feel a sense of undeservingness or unloved or not enoughness or feeling like you have to push harder, just think that maybe you're just in your not self in that particular moment. And what do you need to do for you to make you feel like you are deserving and you are enough? Because you are. Babes, you have nothing to prove. You have nothing to prove even to yourself. So the reason why I save this for last is because, in my opinion, this is where a lot of emotional pain comes from. Those feelings of undeservedness. I said that wrong probably. The feelings of being not loved or not enough, or feeling like you always have to do better. Those are some pretty tough emotions to be sitting in. So I like to keep it for last. Because I just want to remind people over and over that you are loved and you are deserving and you have nothing to prove. But this center here, even though it's so tiny, it feels like it has so much to prove. Really. I want to prove that I can commit. I want to prove that I can get things done fast. I want to prove that I know who I am. I want to prove that I know. I want to prove that I can go. I want to prove that I can be instantaneous. So those are all not self-expressions specifically for Kitsy, not necessarily everybody. But how do you make sure that you are doing the best for yourself in this particular center? Well, you just go according to your strategy and authority, your yes and no mechanism, your and So, if you want to, get out of all of the conundrums of possibly that, just say and gain the clarity over that. You will find that life is much more satisfying, less frustrating, less angering, less pressurized, less needing to prove, less needing to do things for the other, more for you. Yeah, that is your overview. So I just need to say this one more time. The most important thing for you to understand, Kitsune, is that you need to say and gain clarity over that. And if you said or maybe you just don't know, and it's okay. You just need more time.